What's up, everybody? It's 𝐿𝐿RION online, back at it again, getting ready to do homeboy talk, and I'm here featured with my homeboy.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Deon Donovan. I'm the creator of the Tales of Florida comic book series and also a podcast on YouTube with behind the scenes. Welcome to Homeboy Talk.
All right, let's get into these talking points.
For a few years now, there's been heavy speculation of how Sony's Spider-Man films that don't star Tom Holland, how are they related to the MCU? You had films like Venom, films like Morbius, where Sony, Amy Pascal has been claiming that they are connected to the MCU, while Kevin Feige, the sole owner, well, not the sole owner, the sole leader of the MCU, has been quietly denying these claims. But recently, with all the news about the casting choices for Spider-Man 3, for Tom Holland's Spider-Man franchise, things are becoming a little bit more clear now, because it was confirmed that Jamie Foxx is coming back for Electro in Spider-Man 3. We now have confirmation that Doctor Strange will be playing almost like another father figure for Peter in this film as well. And so with these confirmations, this is very big evidence for the adaptation of a live-action Spider-Verse movie with this third film of Tom Holland. And it's been rumored that Andrew Garfield, speculation here, just rumors, that Andrew Garfield, Tobey McGuire, and Kirsten Dunst have been in talks, have been contacted by Sony and the MCU, Marvel Studios, to see if they can get them in this film. And just based on speculation alone, and just based on that they got J.K. Simmons back for Far From Home in a cameo as J. Jonah Jameson, and the fact that we had the Vulture appearing, Michael Keaton's Vulture appearing in Morbius's trailer at the end, I think we're getting a little bit more clear picture of whether this thing is actually becoming a real deal, where we're going to get a live-action Spider-Verse movie featuring all three generations of Spider-Man films in one movie. What do you think about this, man?
I mean, this is pretty impressive if they're able to pull it off. I understand when you're in the talks of these actors and actresses to be implemented and supposedly confirmed live-action Spider-Verse. Honestly, this will definitely draw box office numbers. Yeah. Because you're going to have people from three generations of Spider-Man, the Tobey McGuire, the Andrew Garfield, to now the Tom Holland and stuff, in theaters, with their versions. The Tom Rainey, Sam Rainey Spider-Man's face mask to Andrew Garfield's face mask to Tom Holland's face mask on the movie theater, because you got to wear a mask in the movie theater. Honestly, even if it's not official, it's fun to speculate. And I'm probably going to speak on speculation alone, just to see three generations of Spider-Man. Hell, you could put in the TV show Spider-Man in there as cameo. True. Who knows? But yeah, man, putting them all in there would be dope to see, because if you're able to verify that the Spider-Verse exists in the MCU live-action world, with Doctor Strange, and with Jamie Foxx reprising his role as Electro, and throwing hints out there that the Sinister Six is coming together, then we're definitely looking at a great hour and a half, possibly 2 hour long movie with all this going on, and just to see all three generations of Spider-Man swinging throughout New York, and it'd be great to see. Honestly, I can't live without with Tobey McGuire coming in saying pizza time, along with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. But it'd be nice to see that, and then wearing their those suits, You know, I mean, even if you were to go above and beyond, where I mean, shoot, is Tobey McGuire willing to get back in shape, or is he going to be the out of shape Peter Parker? And if if Andrew Garfield would have come in, is he willing to stay in shape? And reprise his role? It's one of those things that we have to just speculate and say, like, if they reprise a role, how would they actually come out? I mean, you could pretty much write anything. It's Sony. They could do whatever they want. You had Jonah Jameson reprise his role, but he has in Tom Holland's universe, he's more of a journalist. Where we saw Tobey McGuire's Jonah Jameson, he's actually a news distributor. For the Daily Bugle and stuff. So I was like, it really depends what they do and how they reprise these roles and what they do with the roles going forward. But I'd be something that I would love to see, and it could be, I mean, if it's Spider-Man 3, they're not going to look past Spider-Man 3, so you might as well go all out. Yeah. But what else do you have in mind?
Well, this is definitely one of those times where this is like a chance in a one chance in a lifetime opportunity to really cement yourself in the mythosphere of culture. When it comes to these actors, when you have Andrew Garfield, Tobey McGuire, Tom Holland making something very extra special to cross 3 or even 4 generations of people in a film. This is essentially Sony and Marvel partnering up to do an Avengers quality and an Avengers event film with just Spider-Man. This is just like how Captain America 3 was Civil War, featured all the Avengers, and Thor Ragnarok featured the Hulk and a couple other characters. This is Sony's attempt to make Spider-Man 3 on the big stage like that. And it makes sense. What are you going to do to get people out of their houses and put their butts in movie theater seats? What are you going to do? How can you force people back into movie theaters? And this is one of the ways, because people are going to be willing to risk their lives, buy that Spider-Man mask at the front stand, either Tobey Maguire, like you said, Garfield, or Holland version, sit down in that movie theater to see their childhood, their idols team up on the big screen against the Sinister Six or whoever. And it's a big move, man. It's a big move. And Tobey Maguire definitely is the big key factor in all this, because he has been one of those actors who had their rise in Hollywood, who made their films, and now has lived a quiet, reserved life to get away from, celebrityism and all that. So, and the paparazzi. For him to come back, it's going to have to be a different appeal. It just can't be throwing dollar signs at this man. It has to be an emotional appeal to where he's making history, like in the sense of you're making history with this move. And you have Sam Raimi coming back to direct Doctor Strange 2 as well. So that's another appeal that, hey, you're in good hands. This isn't just Marvel Studios. This is Sony too. So there is an appeal to bringing him back rather than just Marvel MCU throwing him here's 200 or whatever million, 100 million that you want to come back. It's huge, man. It is really, really huge. It's fun to speculate. This would be if they were to bring back all three, this would be a 2-hour, 30-minute film. To contain all that into one movie, you're gonna want to see more of it. The fans are gonna want to see more of it. It's probably easily a 2-hour plus film. This is basically your next stop for the Avengers film. This is an Avengers film, because we don't know when the next team up Avengers film will be. There's not one in the lineup. So this is kind of like your in-between. This is your in-between Avenger. Not really, but it is. This is your in-between stop of that next big Avenger level event. And they're making Spider-Man 3 Spider-Verse, what are we going to call it? Homecoming, whatever. one home for all or something like that. This is going to be a really special event they're trying to make. And this also weirdly solidifies the Sonyverse of Spider-Man films, because all you have to say now is that this is an explanation of why Venom and why Morbius don't interact with Tom Holland, because it's just a multiverse of the MCU. So whatever MCU number is in the charts, whatever, 616. Sonyverse is like the ultimate version. You know what I'm saying? They could be 91 or something like that. So now you're like, yeah, it is canon to the MCU, but it's just a multiverse universe of them. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the characters could interact with each other if they cross dimensions into each other. But if they don't, you don't question it, because you still know this is still just an alternate reality of the MCU. So it's a really, really good move on Sony's part to get this done. They only win. It solidifies their own films, and it puts a cash cow for everybody. Everybody wins with this kind of scenario. The actors, the fans. This is a no-lose situation for everybody, and especially during, a pandemic. And this is something that really brings a lot of joy and happiness to a broad generation of fans of Spider-Man. And I got a question for you, though, and I'll put you in a little bit in the hot seat, just a little bit here. Do you think a live-action Spider-Verse hurts Miles Morales' animated Spider-Verse film?
Personally, no. Miles Morales and his caucus of superheroes, spider superheroes, are actually have a personality on their own that can survive in itself. With that cast of Spider-Men and women, they solidified themselves as a demand towards the kids who likes Miles Morales Spider-Verse of Spider-Man and women. The live action, even though it could potentially overshadow, I think that the live action is going to appeal to the adults. Of course, we have the kids, but Spider-Verse has its significance with the kids. Now, the only way that and I'm speaking on speculation, and I'm just a reminder to everybody else, I'm speaking on speculation. If they were able to finally recast Tobey McGuire, Andrew Garfield, along with Tom Holland for Spider-Man 3, but devil's advocate saying that, what if they pull some bullshit? Let's say that they wasn't able to cast Andrew Garfield and Tobey McGuire as their Peter Parker for their generation of Spider-Man, their dimension of Spider-Man. What if they just bullshit us and give us just a CG suit of Tobey McGuire and Andrew Garfield? Or if they wasn't going to be willing to get in shape, they just scanned their faces for the movie and then just regenerated their younger self's body. Would you still, put you back on the hot seat, but would you still watch a movie where they cut corners like that?
If they were to cut corners, I'll be honest with you. I'm probably going to see Spider-Man 3 regardless if they got it done or not. And if they were to cut corners, let's just say, like you said, Tobey Maguire only does a voiceover, and he hardly shows his face in it. I think good writing and good special effects could cover those things for us, where it's like, okay, we can bypass that. It may not be as realistic as if they can do some good movie magic, and they know how to do good movie magic. I think they'll be able to bypass that, and we will sit down and enjoy the film for what it is, and appreciate the fact that it happened. I think we would be satisfied with just a 5-minute cameo, right, where just Tom Holland and Garfield are getting their ass whipped by the Sinister Six, and then Toby comes in the last 5 minutes out the portal, you know what I'm saying, to do the last fight scene, whatever, voiceover work, takes off the mask in the end. You do the one scene with all three of them unmasked, and then they go back to their respective portals, back to the reality. Even that would be, everyone would get off their seats and applaud like it's damn Endgame or Infinity War.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hell, we watch Power Rangers and they do voiceovers, from the Sentai footage, and we bypass that to a certain degree. And there is movie magic where Hugh Jackman didn't film some of his scenes in Logan, but it didn't negate from the fact that it was a great film and still had a great performance. So I'm willing for them to cut some corners, to make some movie magic happen. To make it happen, I'm willing for them, accepting them, cut some corners, make the movie magic, make it appear real as possible. And sure, it might be cutting corners, but there's creative ways to do that. And good writing and good acting and a good script is the best special effect there is out there.
Very true. Now, personally, if they were to do this, if they were able to do the live action, I'll even take it as CG cutting corners. If they did the meme of "Stop copying me," but they had all three. Yeah, Peter Parker was Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, and they do the meme of pointing at each other. Stop copying me. No, you stop copying me. Hell, you don't even have to put it in the movie. You can put it at end credits. I don't really care. That'd be funny. But honestly, yeah, I'm with you on there. I can't ignore a Spider-Man movie. I mean, hell, I'm an early adopter of the Miles Morales game for PlayStation 5. You know, I mean, Spider-Man fan. You know, but other than that, hell, even if they were to try to add more Spider-Verses in, more of the Spider-Verse in, where they were to add Miles Morales in there, you know, and Gwen, and hell, anything they could think of, man. If they went above and beyond, okay, that's more than we can ask for. You would put in every Spider-Man in there in the live-action Spider-Verse. You don't have to. We could suffice with the 3, you know. Yeah, easy. But yeah, man, that's probably my only thing that I'm concerned about is if they were to cut corners and just did a facial scan and just paste, you know, on the body, on somebody else's body who's actually in fit, you know, because like I said, it's going to be the willingness of Tobey McGuire and Andrew Garfield to accept the money that Sony's throwing, and the willingness to get back in shape to be in the movie, or they will just cut corners. It's like, well, if you're not in shape, we'll just scan your face and try to de-age you in the movie to make you look like Tobey McGuire from your era.
Right. And honestly, the technology for that is kind of caught up now. Yeah. We had Michael Douglas in Ant-Man and the Wasp flashback sequences where he looks young as hell, you know, or you have like Robert De Niro in The Irishman, you know, and other films like that have more older, mature actors and actresses get de-aged a bit. It's come a ways since Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher in Rogue One. You know, it's come a ways. It's not that plasticky, you know, look anymore. Look. Right. It's not the Scorpion King look. Hell, even Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, where they had that sequence of his, you know, his virtual reality. Even that was well done for Marvel standards, and that was a couple years ago. Yeah. So, I don't think there's any way they'd have this come out and it look fishy. You know what I'm saying? If it looked fishy, they would definitely try to find some way to not make it look fishy, or they would make another shortcut. They would, you know what I'm saying? They would have another variable in there. They'd have another contingency plan to make it happen and to make it look good. So, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Verse, we'll see what happens. Again, this is all speculation and this is all fun. I'm excited for it. I think they're leaving some clues. They're going to deny it as best as possible until they're ready to showcase that off. We're looking at, I think, 2022 for this film, and I think they want to start filming in the next couple of months. So we don't know how long that's going to be because, you know, the pandemic, and that's causing problems with filming in general. New Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World movie had a delay because of that. The Batman had a delay because of that. So filming during these times is a pain in the ass. We don't know how long these production cycles are going to last. But for them to even get this thing done, get out here in 2022, hell, this could be the movie to reboot the movie industry at a time where they need it the most. This might be the film where people are like, I'm going to movie theaters to watch this film because I have such an emotional connection to it. I cannot deny not seeing it. So that's all my thoughts are, man, for this next supposed Spider-Verse film.
Definitely, man. I agree with you, man. And like I said, man, we looking forward to this movie. especially with the pandemic taking place and pushing everything back. Still be a movie that I look forward to, and I hope there's going to be whether if it's 2022 or 2023 summer blockbuster hit, you'll definitely see me with a movie ticket and definitely a Spider-Man mask over my face. And don't forget to wear a mask.
Thwip, bitches.
Before you go anywhere, be sure to follow us at Homeboy Talk at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud, and of course, YouTube. And if you want to follow me individually, you can follow me at ORRION. That is Orion Online on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
All right, y'all. You guys can find me at Title Page Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow me to see all my latest projects and opinions on all things pop culture.
All right, that wrapped things up with Homeboy Talk. I'm glad that you guys showed up and showed your love and support. And I hope that you guys will tune in next time. I want to go ahead and pass things off to my homeboy here.
For our listeners out there, let us know what you think. Comment below. Once again, thanks for listening to us on another episode of Homeboy Talk.